Hello, and thanks for listening to Screen Facts with Jason Davis, your movie trivia and discussion podcast. I'm Jason Davis. You can follow us on Instagram at ScreenFactsPod. If you'd like to get in touch with us, please email screenfacts@yahoo.com. Also, if you want to support the show with a donation or by buying merchandise, you can do so at jasondavisvoice.com/podcast. Well, joining me for this episode is my favoriteest person in the whole wide world. She's my greatest blessing. My beautiful and lovely and talented wife, Sue Mandzik Davis.
Thank you, honey.
I got to start coming up with new intros for you.
You know, you could just say it's Sue.
It's Sue.
It's good old Sue. She's back.
She's back. We're going to talk about a movie today that is actually sort of a surprise.
Yeah, we weren't going to do this one, and then all of a sudden, we did it.
How do you like that?
It came up in a very interesting way.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. The movie is Soapdish, released May 31st, 1991. Why don't we talk about how we decided on doing this?
Let's.
Okay.
So I was minding my own business at work one day, and into my door come two people who shall remain nameless, but tend to interact with each other and with me in a very comedic way.
Okay.
And at one point, somebody said, "Thank you, try the veal," which led to, a different kind of thank you, something or other with coffee. And then he asked her, "What's that from?" And she said, "It's that movie about soap operas." And he said, "Soap?" And she said, "No, Soapdish."
Okay.
And I said, "I think I remember that movie."
Yeah.
Well, guess what? When we were watching it, I was listening for whatever it was I thought she had said.
Nowhere to be found.
I couldn't find it.
Yeah.
So maybe it was another movie. But still, I'm glad it kind of came up.
Yeah.
Because I said to myself, I think I know that one. And yeah, I remembered loving it.
Yeah. This was a movie I remember seeing around the time that it first came out.
Yeah.
I can't remember if I saw it in the theater. I was trying to remember that. I can't imagine that I would have went, a movie about soap operas. I want to go see that,
Okay.
But at the same time, I've always been a big fan of comedy.
Right.
This movie has an amazing cast.
Exactly.
So maybe that's why I went to see it.
You didn't go see it for Sally Field?
I don't think that I would have gone out of my way to see a movie just because she was in it. I know when we were watching this, I admitted that I probably crushed on her a little bit.
Yeah. And I admitted that I crushed on Kevin Kline. I think that's the reason I went to see it in the movies.
Okay. I mean, they're both great in this movie.
Oh, fantastic.
This has a great ensemble cast, and you could tell that they really enjoyed making this movie together, too.
Yeah.
There's a definite energy about the performances.
Yeah. So I have some interesting information on how this movie even came to be, if you're interested.
Of course.
Can I drop some knowledge on you?
Please.
Excellent. Well, Soapdish was the byproduct of two similar yet separate project ideas formed during the filming of Steel Magnolias in 1989. Between its executive producer, Herbert Ross, screenwriter, Robert Harling, star Sally Field, and Field's then-husband, Alan Greisman. So it's a whole mishmash of what happened. Like if you tried to draw a flow chart of how this came to be, it wouldn't look like a regular chain of events. It would kind of look like Family Circus when Billy goes to put a letter in the mailbox and he goes all over the neighborhood.
Nice reference.
Thank you. So Robert Harling wrote an initial draft of the screenplay for TriStar Pictures, but Field decided against doing the project with the executive producer, and TriStar just lost interest eventually.
Okay.
In the spring of '89, Paramount Pictures acquired it. They instructed Harling to write another draft, and he completed that in the fall of that year. Then the director dropped out, and he was replaced by Michael Hoffman in early 1990. But he put the project on hold because Harling left to write the pilot for the TV adaptation of Steel Magnolias.
Okay.
So Alan Greisman, who was married to Sally Field, Alan Greisman then hired his former Fletch screenwriter, Andrew Bergman, for revisions.
Okay.
The revisions impressed him enough to bring the project back to Sally Field, and it inspired the director, Michael Hoffman, to move forward with production. It was a whole thing.
Yeah.
It wasn't just, hey, let's do this. Okay. It was
quite a journey.
Quite a journey.
Who knew?
Yep.
Interesting to see that Aaron Spelling was one of the producers on this movie, too.
Yes. That makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah. For those of you who don't remember, Aaron Spelling was a hugely successful producer for many years, but like the 70s and 80s and a little bit of the 90s too, I would say his most successful era.
Oh, yeah.
Love Boat, Fantasy Island, Charlie's Angels, Heart to Heart, Dynasty, Beverly Hills 90210, Melrose Place, among others. So
yeah. Pretty much, if you turned the TV on, you'd see his name come up.
For sure.
No matter what you were watching.
Yeah. So let's talk about the cast. So
okay.
You mentioned Sally Field as Celeste Talbert. Kevin Kline was brought on as Jeffrey Anderson or Dr. Rod Randall on the show. Yeah, originally they wanted Burt Reynolds for that role.
I cannot imagine that.
I almost could, because Burt Reynolds did a lot of comedy stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he had good comedy chops.
Right.
He and Sally Field had a real-life relationship at one point. Because they starred together in Smokey and the Bandit, and the relationship came out of the showmance came out of that.
Showmance.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But at the time, Burt Reynolds was married to Lonnie Anderson.
Oh, yeah.
And she was like, oh, you can't do this with a former relationship, a former lover of yours. I'm going to be a laughingstock. So he dropped out, Burt Reynolds.
Lonnie, come on. Anyway, I'm glad he did.
Yeah.
Because the reason I think I see Kevin Kline in it more connected to that kind of character is because Kevin Kline has the theater chops. Okay. So I can fully believe him as the actor playing Willie Loman in dinner theater. I can completely believe that.
Yeah, and talking about getting a one-man Hamlet made.
Yeah, yeah.
Because it's all in Hamlet's head anyway.
Oh, my gosh, yeah.
You only need one actor for that. Kevin Kline, another little side note, was supposed to be in Hook, the Steven Spielberg film about Peter Pan. The role ended up going to Robin Williams because Kevin Kline had to do reshoots on this. So he lost out on doing Hook. I'm not sure. I think that worked out well.
I think so too, because I thought you were going to say he was going to play Captain Hook.
No.
But no, he was going to play Peter.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think Robin Williams was really the best for that.
Of course.
Yeah.
Definitely. So Robert Downey Jr.
Yes. Little fun fact about that. Mm-hmm. Although that character was originally written for an older actor, Michael Hoffman, the director, had long been looking to collaborate with Robert Downey Jr. He had the part rewritten for him.
Very cool.
Yeah.
This was really the point in time when Robert Downey Jr.'s career started to rebound a little bit, because he had some success in the 80s doing like sort of teen movies and comedies and stuff. Right. And then he had a very public battle with drugs.
Yeah.
Really was in bad shape.
Yeah.
And so Hollywood kind of like was avoiding him for a while because of that. And then Chaplin, I think, was the first comeback role. And he was nominated for an Oscar for that. And then I think this came shortly thereafter. And then he kind of, the wheel started gaining traction again on his career.
Yeah, he's so talented.
Yeah, very talented.
I mean, I think I've loved everything I've seen him do.
Yeah, a lot of people know him as Iron Man, Tony Stark.
Oh, yeah.
And, he's great. He's great in those roles. But I mean, he's done a lot of serious stuff too. So, yeah. Kathy Moriarty as Montana Moorhead. So we're watching the movie, and at one point, there's a line in the movie where she talks about being 28. Yeah. And we're like, 28?
No way.
Get out of here. Because she has that real husky voice. And
yeah, she just looked older than that to me.
And she's like really tall and like statuesque. And she has an energy about her that just seems sort of more mature.
Yeah, and that voice. She's got that deep voice.
That really deep voice. Exactly. Yeah. And she was 30 when they made this. She turned 31 a few months after this movie was released.
That's amazing. I know.
Yeah, so it wasn't really that out of the question that she could have been 28.
Yeah, Montana Moorhead. Isn't that just the best name for a soap opera actor?
100%.
Oh, my gosh.
So she was cast last minute. Originally, Gina Davis was going to play that role.
Okay, I could see that too.
And I think she would have been very good in the role too, because she's statuesque.
Tall.
Exactly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. She could pull off bravada.
For sure.
Yeah.
Gina Davis decided to do Thelma and Louise instead.
Ooh. That was probably a good call for her.
For sure, because that was a big success for her. Mm-hmm. Whoopi Goldberg as Rose Schwartz, the head writer on the soap opera. Elizabeth Shue as Laurie Craven. Carrie Fisher, Gary Marshall, Terry Hatcher, and Kathy Najimy all had great supporting roles.
They were all fantastic. Kathy Najimy had me cracking up the whole time.
Yeah.
She's
great.
Because there's Celeste going crazy over something, and Kathy Najimy's like right at her side, like pinning her sleeves and stuff, as she's going crazy. I heard that the original actor that they wanted for Edmund Edwards was Carl Reiner.
Gary Marshall's role?
Mm-hmm. But Entertainment Weekly claimed that Michael Hoffman cast Gary Marshall after meeting him in the Paramount studio commissary.
Interesting.
Can you imagine that? Just bump into someone at lunch and, hey.
Yeah, I want you for my movie.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it makes sense. Gary Marshall was a pretty successful person with television.
Yeah.
So this movie sort of centers around television, soap operas. Yeah. So that makes sense.
I mean, I can see Carl Reiner doing it too.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he's played roles like that, I think.
Yeah.
Gary Marshall, it's not the first time he's played like the head of a corporation,
yeah,
too.
Yeah.
So most famously, A League of Their Own, he played the owner of the ball club.
That's right.
So, yeah.
I think my favorite line of his is he's telling the writing staff, he doesn't want depressing and expensive. I don't want depressing and expensive. I want peppy and cheap.
Yeah. So I thought it was interesting. I read that 3 actors that were in this movie actually were on soap operas at one time.
3?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Kevin Kline in Search for Tomorrow.
Okay.
Terry Hatcher in Capital.
Okay.
And Paul Johansson, the actor who played Bolt.
Oh, Bolt, the husband.
Was in Santa Barbara.
That was great. Whenever he showed up, he had like a little tiny tank top on or
yeah, of course.
no shirt or something.
And then Sally Field, Kevin Kline, Robert Downey Jr., and Whoopi Goldberg have all won Oscars.
That's right.
Some of them have won after this movie was released. And Moriarty and Elizabeth Shue were nominated. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, a lot of pedigree.
Yeah. And there was a 4th soap opera actor.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I didn't jump in fast enough there.
That's okay, go.
General Hospital actress Finola Hughes made a cameo appearance in the picture. So she appeared as an actress from the fictional soap All My Trials.
Okay.
But she wasn't credited. So
right,
she was at the awards show.
Yes.
Yeah.
The guy hosting that was announcing the winners,
okay,
Stephen Nichols, he was a soap star too.
Oh, so we're up to 5.
Well, I'm talking about like the main actors, the main cast.
Well, okay, but 5 in the total cast.
Yeah. And then, of course, Lisa Gibbons and John Tesh.
Remember them?
Playing them. So, yeah, Entertainment Tonight.
Is
that show still on, I wonder?
I don't know.
Yeah, it might be. Who knows?
It might be.
Not a big budget, not a big moneymaker. It was well received by critics. Mm-hmm. Audiences gave it a A-,
okay,
on Cinema Score or whatever.
I can tell you the theater people like it a lot.
Oh, sure.
Because it does involve a lot of commentary on, acting and writing and getting something up off the ground, behind the scenes.
Yeah. I also read that a lot of actual soap stars thought it was very funny and pretty true to life. Some of it's exaggerated.
Well, of course.
But a lot of them were kind of like how musicians appreciated This Is Spinal Tap.
Okay.
As being a little too close for, to reality.
Yeah.
I think soap stars responded to this movie in the same way.
Yeah, I would think that any actor would.
Yeah. Some of the funny stuff, like how when, Whoopi Goldberg's like, I can't write for a guy that doesn't have a head.
That's right, because the character wasn't just dead, he was decapitated.
Right. So, yeah, they really leaned into the over-the-topness of most soap opera stories and a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, they're even, who was it who said to Sally Field about Fort Lee?
That was Montana Moorhead.
Okay.
Kathy Moriarty. Yeah,
because she says, you're playing at Fort Lee. That's your audience. That's the heartland. Just imagine all these, suburban women checking in for their soaps.
I think
their stories.
And then there was the other line. So Sally Field's character is so insecure that from time to time she'll go
across the bridge
to New Jersey from New York.
Mm-hmm. They're at a mall.
Yeah, at a shopping mall.
Yeah.
And she brings Whoopi Goldberg, and Whoopi Goldberg pretends to recognize her.
Oh, my gosh.
And then next thing you know, there's a whole crowd of people.
Yeah.
And that's how she strokes her ego, right?
Yep.
She goes to the shopping mall. So then later in the movie, when Kevin Kline's character wants to stick it to her, what does he say?
Oh, he says, I got to get to the mall? Give him my best in Paramus.
Now, for those listening who are not from New Jersey.
Paramus could be considered one of the major mall hotspots.
I would say so. There's probably like 4 or 5 malls. There's at least 3 in Paramus alone.
Yeah.
And then there's like another one adjacent to Paramus.
Right.
That's pretty popular too.
Yeah.
And they're big malls too. They're not like little shopping centers. They're the real deal.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it's not Mall of America or anything.
No,
but
they're legitimate malls. So
you want to do some mall walking, you'll get a good workout.
I remember having a real good laugh at that line when I first saw the movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Probably because I was in Paramus watching the movie at the time.
Oh, probably.
Yeah, because that's where
sense.
I watched movies most of the time when I lived in that area. So.
Yeah. I mean, they actually filmed it at the Topanga Plaza Mall in Canoga Park,
okay.
California.
Yeah.
But hey, you know, it had that great nostalgic mall feel to it.
Yeah. It's always fun to see malls in movies, especially when they're older movies. Yeah. So I also read that when they were casting the movie, once Sally Field signed on, it was a lot easier for them to get all the other actors too.
That makes sense.
Apparently she really had a lot of, influence.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool. Mm-hmm. A lot of improvisation too.
Yes, they had 2 weeks of rehearsals before they started filming.
Okay.
And during that time, a lot of the improv was actually written into the script.
From what I was reading, Robert Downey Jr. is very good at improv.
Okay, I could see that.
I mean, I'm sure they're all great.
Yeah.
Whoopi Goldberg, I mean, she's comes from a stand-up background and one-woman performance kind of stuff, so I'm sure she could come up with lots of stuff.
Mm-hmm. I would imagine Kevin Kline with his theater background.
Yep. It's great when you have a cast like this. Most of the time, I imagine there's not a lot of room for that kind of improvisation.
Yeah.
So it's probably a lot of fun for the director to have that at his disposal.
Yeah. The fact that they let them rehearse ahead of time, I think is great. Because, there is a good amount of it that's physical.
Yes.
So I think that's important to run that first before you get
true.
the cameras going. One of my favorites out of all of it is at the end when they're reading off the teleprompter and Kevin Kline doesn't have his glasses. So he's like trying to lean in and read it and he keeps misreading things. It's just, that is such classic comedy. But while he's doing that, they're in the set of a Chinese restaurant and there's a tassel from the roof and it's just on his head the whole time.
From the light or whatever.
Yeah. And he just, he realizes after a while and he kind of shifts a little, but it's there.
It's there the whole time.
Yeah. You're going to be doing this with a tassel on your head. Okay.
After a while, I think he just tries to make pretend like it's not happening.
Yeah.
In case, nobody's noticing that.
Yeah.
That sort of thing. The other reason that I think the rehearsal makes sense for this movie is because it feels like a play, like a stage
It does. It really does. I could see a stage version of this.
Yeah. I'm surprised it hasn't been made.
Yeah.
Maybe because it wasn't that huge of a movie.
Maybe.
But you know what? They're always remaking things on Broadway. And this would actually be a good one because it wasn't a huge successful movie. So people might not even realize, that was a movie originally.
Yeah. Well, they've done so many things and made them into musicals.
Yeah.
That's my only fear with that.
Yeah, I don't want to see Soapdish the musical.
Yeah, no. I want to see Soapdish played out like Noises Off would be played out.
Right.
You have things going on, things go wrong. Mm-hmm. So there's a scene where they're filming The Sun Also Sets.
Right.
Which is, the name of the soap opera.
Right.
And the scene itself is just so horrible. It's poorly written. It's poorly acted. It's just overacted. The whole dramatic, she steps outside and looks away and he's behind her. And you have
all the soap opera tropes.
Yeah. You have that big fake wave moving that when I first saw it, I said, that's kind of cool the way they did that. But then...
And then when you look at it, you really look at it, you're like, it's pretty cheesy.
It's pretty cheesy. But I had written down the scene being filmed so bad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think that's where you see Bolt come in.
Yep.
And he's got the little teeny tank top.
Yeah. You don't even have to be a fan of soap operas to appreciate the parody.
Yeah.
Because you've heard about it. Like everybody pretty much, especially in our age demographic.
Yeah.
Even if you never watch soap operas, you know what goes on in those shows.
Oh, yeah. Classic stuff.
Yeah.
Now, did you watch any soap operas?
I didn't watch regularly. I think there was a couple of times that I may have had sick days from school or whatever.
Yeah.
When maybe I watched Days of Our Lives a little bit.
Okay.
Especially because I didn't have a VCR to record.
Right.
Initially. Mm-hmm. Later on, VCRs became pretty mainstream.
Yeah.
But by that time, I wasn't really into it. Just to be clear, I was aware of soap operas and there were certain characters and certain shows that transcended just soap operas. General Hospital was like a pop culture thing.
Yeah, it sure was.
Days of Our Lives was too. Mm-hmm. So I was certainly aware of certain shows and I was aware of how bad and overdone the acting was and that sort of thing.
Yeah. All My Children.
Yes.
I mean, Susan Lucci. Mm-hmm. I think the whole world knows Susan Lucci somehow because how many times has she been nominated for her Golden Globes or Emmys or whatever? I think it was like 11 years straight at one point.
Yeah.
All you have to do is say Erica Kane. Everybody goes, oh, you can see her. You can see the hair with all the hairspray and the shoulder pads. When I was homesick. So I would watch All My Children. I remember maybe putting on All My Children and realizing the story hadn't really moved that far. It's like, is it later the same day from the last time I saw this, or is it the next day?
That's
Because it's not
interesting.
real time.
Yeah, right.
Obviously.
How long between viewings for you?
I would guess like a month at least.
Oh, wow.
And also in grammar school, I wasn't a General Hospital girl. I was a Guiding Light girl.
Okay.
Now, that was Channel 2.
Okay.
And it was
CBS.
Yep. Thank you. It was 3 to 4, so it was the same time slot.
Okay.
You know that I pretty much grew up at Kathy's house.
Right.
If I wasn't at Kathy's house, I was home in front of the TV on the phone with Kathy watching Guiding Light.
That's funny.
We would just tie up the phone lines for an hour while we watched. Oh my gosh, I can't believe this.
Yeah.
And then sometimes at 4 o'clock, I would switch over to Channel 7, ABC, and put on The Edge of Night. Sometimes.
Okay. Yeah. Like I remember being into Dynasty.
There you go.
And I was probably way too young to be watching that shit.
Right.
I
remember watching Dallas.
Yeah, that's another one. I never really watched Dallas, but everybody tuned in for Who Shot JR.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. Whoopi Goldberg was working on 2 different TV shows, and she actually made time to appear in this between the filming of Baghdad Cafe and Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Okay, I forgot she was on that.
Yeah. So initial filming for this took place outside the New York City's Plaza Hotel.
Okay.
And that served as the entrance to the Daytime Television Awards.
Okay.
And then they went to the Topanga Plaza Mall to film that. And then they finished up on Stage 15 at Paramount.
Okay.
So when they moved to LA, I've never heard this term before. They switched to what's called French hours, consisting of 10-hour workdays with continuous food service. So by reducing downtime and makeup retouching that you would need if you had allocated meal breaks, they were looking to cut 5 days off of production.
Oh, wow. That sounds like a crazy schedule.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds long and grueling if you're 10 hours, but you may not be the one on your feet the whole 10 hours as an actor.
Right.
And then you just go get your food and you come back. And speaking of food, one of my favorite things in the movie, they were in the commissary and at the next table over was a woman in a nun costume. And she was smoking a cigarette and reading Variety. And it was just such a great visual for me. I laughed out loud.
Totally. That's good stuff.
Yep. Speaking of the sets, when the credits start, I don't know if you noticed, there was a lot of just bold, abstract and graphics, and it was red and yellow and blue. And then that carried right into the design of the whole movie.
Yeah.
That style of design was called Memphis Milano.
Okay.
So it was a very big 80s style. So even though it was a 90s movie, I think we were both sitting there kind of going, this has a big 80s feel to me.
That could be said about a lot of early 90s movies.
Yeah.
A lot of early 90s anything, really. Like even music.
You still got your big hair going. You got your shoulder pads. You haven't, toned down and gone to your flannels yet.
Yeah, I think exactly. I think things started to shift like mid 90s.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Much.
I think that's when each decade kind of starts getting its groove is halfway through.
That's true.
The whole scheme of it was bold clashing colors, primary colors. And the reason I found all of this was because we noticed how much red there was, remember? We're like, look at all that red. And I remember in the 80s, we used red a lot as accents.
Okay.
But, in this case, there was a lot of red. Well, they were following this whole tradition, the color palette, bright, electric, neon colors, and contrast, a lot of contrast. So, black and white, red off of yellow, and a lot of geometric patterns, zigzag, squiggles.
Yep.
The philosophy was that they were rebelling against the 70s style of more minimal and earth tones, rust, shag carpets, all of that. And they decided to just smack it in its face. In Sally Field's apartment, there was red paint, red upholstery. I think that was when we said, oh my gosh, all this red.
Yeah.
Gold trim and molding, a black and white tiled floor. So posh.
Yeah.
In that scene, they were kind of scanning over different parts of the apartment. And I noticed a picture of Elizabeth Shue. Nobody says anything about it. And then they're bringing her in and I'm like, why does she have a picture of her?
Yeah.
And then you find out.
Yeah. First, she's identifies as her aunt.
Right.
Sally Field.
Yes.
And then there's a whole scene in the movie
Big reveal.
Big reveal. It's supposed to be happening real life to the actors, but it could have been part of the show.
Yeah. Yeah, they're filming live at this point. They've gone off the teleprompter.
Yeah.
And we find out.
And she tells Kevin Kline, you can't kiss her ever because she's your daughter.
Well, even when they were out on that little date, Kevin, they're going to say goodbye and they kind of lean in for a kiss. And at the last minute, Kevin Kline just pulls up and he kisses her forehead.
Right. When it's revealed that Elizabeth Shue's character is his daughter, he says, one more date, we would have had a Greek tragedy on our hands.
That's what it was. Could you imagine? How about where he's performing at the dinner theater and the name of it is the Opelika Florida Steakhouse. Did you notice that every time we went back there was like more and more letters falling off the marquee board?
Yep. And the people that work at the theater keep calling him Mr. Loman. He's like, my name is Anderson.
Don't call me Mr. Loman. Just goes to show, I guess he was not a method actor.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the best scene for all of the design, because I did not remember how visually stunning the movie is until we watched it again.
Yep.
Carrie Fisher's office. It was just chock full of 80s stuff.
Oh, yeah. That's the great thing about movies like this from years ago. The nostalgia is not just in the comedy and the performances, but it's the clothing, it's the styling of the hair. Yeah. It's the way they wear makeup. It's
everything. It's the lamp.
Everything.
It's the cars that are driving on the street.
And it's great because you can enjoy the nostalgia, but the film doesn't feel dated per se. It doesn't. Because like sometimes, especially movies from like before this, like going way back, 40s, 50s. And not just because they're black and white. Just the way the acting style is way different. And I even said with this movie, because even when they're not on the show, right, when they're just interacting as people, as the actors, and not playing the characters, the performances felt really over the top to me.
Still larger than life.
Yeah, and I think that was done purposely.
Yeah.
Like they were all the actors were directed to just be completely over the top. Not just their egos, meaning just how they interact with each other too.
Yeah. When I was teaching acting, I would give a little bit of history of act. Just that if you think about the 40s movies where they talked to present their information and their lines, it was called presentational acting. They were presenting the performance. But then it shifted and it became representational acting, where you were really just representing the person that you were playing.
Do you think that presentational acting style was sort of left over from the silent film era?
I think so.
When people had to be really over the top and demonstrative with the way they presented their performance because they couldn't talk.
Absolutely.
You couldn't hear them.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And then eventually people went, we should try to make this as realistic as possible.
Let's try for a little more natural.
Yeah. I mean, when you think about like some of the performances that you see nowadays in movies and TV shows, sometimes you forget these are characters you're watching.
And you think, that actor's just a total chameleon.
Yeah.
Because they just can turn into these other people.
Yeah.
And you don't realize the process of it where you've built your whole backstory and you've decided, well, what mannerisms does this person use when they're stressed, when they're upset, when they're happy, and you build like a whole catalog in your brain, of what to work with.
Yeah.
And I can only imagine the catalogs that Sally Field and Kevin Kline had in this.
Oh, yeah. The sets, the clothing, the performances, I think everything was done on purpose to be over the top.
Oh, yes.
Because soap operas are over the top.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No. I probably went to the movies and saw this. Because Kevin Kline was in it.
Right.
I'm sure I loved it at the time. But now coming in 35 years later, and I have 35 years of, experience in theater and dealing with actors and everything, watching it now, what a whole new appreciation.
Oh, totally.
I mean, not just for how gorgeous it was, but just movies about acting, I adore.
Yeah.
I just adore them.
Well, thanks. This has been fun. And like I said at the top, a surprise episode of Screen Facts because this was not even on our radar.
No, it wasn't on my list.
And I'm glad that we rediscovered this one.
Yeah, thanks, Randy and Cindy.
Well, thanks so much for listening. And remember, if you want to get in touch with us, you can reach out at screenfacts@yahoo.com. You can follow us on Instagram at ScreenFactsPod. Please do. Let people know about this if you like what you're hearing. Spread the word. We appreciate it a lot. And if you want to support the show, if you're such a huge fan, you could either make a donation or if you'd like to sport some Screen Facts apparel or a mug or something like that, you can order all that. There's links at jasondavisvoice.com/podcast. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Actors don't like to play coma. they feel it limits their range.